What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. Pure chaos right now from the Philadelphia Flyers, just everything this morning. So we're going to get into a lot of it. They trade for Tony DeAngelo from the Carolina Hurricanes. He was an RFA this upcoming, off season, and the Flyers do extend him to a 2-year contract worth $5 million annually, so that's $10 million in total. The draft picks that the Flyers give up, they give up a second, third, and a fourth round pick. It looks hefty. The second round pick's in 2024, the third round pick's in 2023, and the fourth round pick is for this year's draft in 2022. A lot of things to go over in this. Obviously, Flyers Twitter is just Flyers social media in general is in a whole clusterfuck because of this acquisition of Tony DeAngelo. And, out of all, most Flyers fans don't like the pick or the trade because at first glance, yes, you do give up a lot to acquire Tony DeAngelo. You give up 3 draft picks, but at the end of the day, they are second, third, and fourth round draft picks, which have a lower percent chance of hitting. And it's not like they're all in the same draft. The fourth round pick was from this year. The third round pick was from 2023. Where the Flyers, I believe, have 3 third-round picks that year, and then the second-round picks in 2024. So that is 2 years down the line. I can understand why people don't like this trade, understandably, because Tony DeAngelo is a completely polarizing figure in the National Hockey League. I'm not saying that you have to like the acquisition. I am not at all. You have a right to your own opinion. I'm just, at face value, I am looking at the player himself, and the Flyers technically did get a good player, a good offensive defenseman, someone that can quarterback a power play. If you look at Tony DeAngelo last year for the Carolina Hurricanes, in 64 games, he put up 51 points. That is 10 goals and 41 assists. He was also a plus 30 on that Carolina team. If we look at the Carolina team in general from last year, he was one of their best players in terms of plus minus. The best player was Jacob Slavin with a plus 35, and Tony DeAngelo was a plus 30, and he was their fourth best goals. He was their fourth best point getter at 51 points. The other point getters, Vincent Trocheck at 51, Teuvo Teravainen had 65, Svechnikov at 69, and Sebastian Aho had 81. So, yes, Tony DeAngelo is a completely polarizing figure in the National Hockey League. His attitude is terrible. All the off-ice stuff that everyone knows about at this point. Yes, it is definitely not a good look for, Tony DeAngelo in general. And yes, people have the right to not like the trade. They definitely do. I'm not saying you have to like it at all. I'm looking at it as the Flyers technically did improve the defense, but also this kind of shows the boat that Ryan Ellis is probably not going to be playing next year because there's a lot of rumors swirling about that he's most likely going to be put on LTIR. And in those rumors swirling too, he's probably not going to be playing next year because, like I said yesterday, we just have no idea what the hell is wrong with Ryan Ellis's situation with his injury. So most likely he is going to be put on LTIR. So that is the case with Ryan Ellis in that standpoint. And if we look at Tony DeAngelo basically for the rest of, his other career, going back, with the New York Rangers in 2019-2020, he put up 53 points in 68 games. 2018-2019, he put up 30 points. He put up 14 points with the Arizona Coyotes in 2017 in 39 games. So, yeah, he also got waived by the New York Rangers in the COVID-shortened season with all the antics that he put up, the Alexander Georgiev situation where they were fighting each other in the locker room. So that's, a question mark like that. Yes, Tony DeAngelo is definitely a very, very polarizing figure. He's a really good offensive defenseman, though. Really good. He can quarterback a power play, and that's, something that the Flyers desperately need. They need a defenseman that can quarterback a power play. They had Ryan Ellis. He's going to be LTIR'd most likely, and they really have no one else. Ivan Provorov is not the best defenseman on the power play. No idea about Sanheim. Ristolainen's most likely not going to be in that on a first-line power play unit. Cam York, still way too young to even know what he is. And that's basically looking at what it is right now. So, honestly, if I look at the Flyers' cap right now, if I look at their cap friendly, because I want to see if that's updated with the Tony DeAngelo signing. So, Is Tony DeAngelo, okay, he is right here, but they did not update the contract right now. So the Flyers currently, before the Tony DeAngelo signing, they have $5.1 million in cap space. So now with the Tony DeAngelo signing, that's going to put them exactly, like 100 something thousand over the cap. But then you're going to be adding Ryan Ellis, who is currently on the injury reserve. He's most likely going to be put on LTIR. So that cap's going to come off the books. And then most likely there's still going to be plenty of other moves for this Flyers team. You're most likely going to be getting rid of JVR's salary somewhere. So that's going to be $7 million off the books. There's still going to be plenty of moves to come. There's still a lot of rumors swirling about of the Flyers possibly trading for Johnny Gaudreau's rights. So that is a rumor that is still out there. Overall, it's just that Tony DeAngelo, the term is good. It's a 2-year contract, well worth that. But, $5 million per year is kind of steep for a 2-year contract. But he was an RFA at that point. So at the end of the day, you still got a better player. And basically at that point, it's for, the missing of Ryan Ellis, which I believe is why that happened. I'm basically just scrolling through Flyers Twitter at this point because there's so many people that don't like Tony DeAngelo. So I know, like, people are going to be saying, oh, him and I see a Ryan saying right here, Torts and him will probably butt heads a lot. I feel like if Rod Brind'Amour was able to control his attitude, I think John Tortorella can control his attitude. I know John Tortorella said that in his press conference, when he was introduced to the Flyers, that he likes to develop the person more than the players. So who knows? Maybe that's a better thing that John Tortorella can work with Tony DeAngelo on that thing. And also, Tony DeAngelo is a local guy. He's from South Jersey. So most likely he was one of the other guys that wanted to play for the Philadelphia Flyers his entire career. And now he's in that state. So maybe he doesn't want to, jeopardize himself playing for the Flyers. Who knows? Ryan also says he likes to trade someone who can quarterback the power play. Yeah, Tony DeAngelo is definitely someone that can quarterback the power play for sure. There's just, like, I know people are definitely upset about giving up 3 draft picks for Tony DeAngelo. Yeah, I think the price is a little steep for that standpoint. So I can understand that frustration on that point. But overall, technically, I'm for, if you're in this aggressive retool state, you're going to be, yes, I'm going to be saying, oh, yeah, you're taking risks, but you didn't take the risk on getting an Alex DeBrincat yesterday, which I wholly would have taken if the Flyers were to try to get Alex DeBrincat. So that's one of those statements right there. But overall, like I said, I am still fine with this move. And I'm just looking at the Flyers roster at the same time. So got Ivan Provorov, most likely going to be your first pairing defenseman. There's still the question mark with Ryan Ellis. He's most likely not going to be playing next year. Rasmus Ristolainen and Travis Sanheim. Travis Sanheim, after this upcoming season, he's going to be a UFA. So he's going to demand some money if he even is going to be with a Flyers uniform this year or the year after. You got Cam York. Nick Seeler was re-signed to a cheap contract. Now you got Tony DeAngelo, who's going to be, $5 million for the next 2 seasons. Got Ronnie Attard. You got some young defensemen here, so that's the question mark there. Looking at some of the forwards, you got Kevin Hayes. You got JVR, who's most likely not going to be a Flyer next year. Cam Atkinson for another 3 years after this. Travis Konechny, there's still question marks if he's going to be in the Flyers uniform next year. Joel Farabee, whose new contract kicks in. Scott Lawton, Oscar Lindblom. There's question marks of whether he will be a Flyer next year. Got Bobby Brink, Noah Cates, Patrick Brown, Morgan Frost, Zach McEwen, who's an RFA, who probably will be re-signed. I would assume Owen Tippett's an RFA, most likely will be re-signed. And then Nate Thompson, who's most likely not going to be on the Flyers next year. I would believe that. You also got some guys that are down in the minors, like Tyson Forrester and all that stuff. So really, and then some goaltenders that you're talking about, Carter Hart, Martin Jones is a UFA. I don't expect them to bring Martin Jones back. The whole Ivan Fedotov situation sucks, and hopefully everything's going to be okay with him in Russia. You also got Felix Sandstrom, who they just re-signed. You still got Samuel Arison. But I'm assuming the Flyers are going to go after, a veteran backup of all that standards. So basically, like I said, I'm just really scrolling through Twitter just to see the constant, just complete over-the-top reactions to this Tony DeAngelo thing, because honestly, I find it very hilarious. I see some people are, Chuck, go out inside of Vander Kane now. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like, I do think this trade still, like I said, still most likely came about just because of the entire Ryan Ellis thing. It's not saying Tony DeAngelo is a good defenseman. He is. He's a really good offensive defenseman in this league. Like I said, he can quarterback a power play. What the Flyers desperately need. They definitely do. But I'm also not going to deny that people really hate this trade, and I'm not going to hold you against that. People have a right to hate the player. He's definitely a polarizing player off the ice. But also, I'm looking at what he does on the ice. Yes, and I'm not denying what he has done off the ice. It's kind of very bad what he has done off the ice for Tony DeAngelo. And he's kind of a very, loud individual. I'll say that. But I do think that having a guy like a John Tortorella behind the bench, I think he can keep his attitude in check. And especially with Tony DeAngelo coming back home to play for his hometown team, maybe he won't be as bad, but also I'm not going to hold any chips against that. So basically, it's just a wait and see type of process. Still, I believe he could be a good defenseman for this team, especially on the offensive side. And basically, I'm looking for any more rumors right here from the Flyers standpoint. I know the whole rumors about a Johnny Gaudreau is still out there, possibly trading for his rights. But I do think the Flyers need to find a way to shed some salary and all that stuff. So we just got to wait and see on that. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of rumors right there. I know if you go to like a hockey buzz, there's like so many rumors on that thing. So you got to take those with a grain of salt. But right now, like I said, you just gotta, apparently the Vancouver Canucks drafted a kid named Elias Pettersson when they already have a guy named Elias Pettersson. So that is weird. That is very weird. The Flyers also made a 3rd round draft pick. I believe it was, where was their recent draft pick? Where is it at? 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 I just saw it on here. Come on. Where is it at? 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 If I go to, let me just look at the Flyers on Twitter. Maybe that'll help. That'll definitely help me. Okay, the Flyers drafted Devin Kaplan from the United States National Development Program. 3rd round pick, 69th overall. Nice. But overall, it's a 3rd round pick. You just got to see what happens. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Definitely an interesting time, though, to be a Flyers fan. I'll definitely say that. Yeah, Flyers fans right now, it's just like a really bad spot in the organization from how bad they have been the past couple of years. And yeah, fans have a right to be very frustrated with the team. I completely understand that. But I kind of do think that the team isn't as bad as some people want to put out there. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think they're going to be the best team in the world. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I just don't think they're as bad as they have been the past couple of years. I think there are some players that are still good on this team. It's basically like when you look at some of the players that are on the Phillies right now, like a JT Realmuto and the Nick Castellanos, they're not bad baseball players. They're playing bad baseball right now. That's how I feel about some of the guys on the Flyers, like a Travis Konecny, some of these other players as well. They're not bad hockey players. They're playing bad hockey. And I do believe they have a lot more in the tank to give. But still, there's a lot of things like talking about Travis Konecny. There's a possibility that he could not be a Flyer this upcoming season. JVR, he's most likely not going to be in the Flyers uniform. The Flyers are desperately going to try to trade off that salary. Looking at Oscar Lindblom, I know there's been a lot of rumors about him possibly being bought out or being traded in general. So there's definitely a lot of question marks surrounding this roster. Like I said, Ryan Ellis is most likely going to be going on LTIR. And in terms of the offseason, in terms of the cap space, teams are allowed to go 10% above the cap in the offseason when they make their moves. It's about being cap compliant when you get to, I believe, preseason or the start of the regular season. So definitely expect a lot more moves to happen. Like, I know people are very frustrated with, everything that's going on with the past couple of days with this team. I know they missed out on Alex DeBrincat, which is frustrating, but the Flyers are definitely showcasing that they're very heavy on going after a Johnny Gaudreau. So we got to wait and see. We definitely got to wait and see what happens. Free agency is next Tuesday. So we just basically have to take it by a day-by-day process. I'm assuming the Flyers are going to be making a lot more trades. They're going to be making some signings. So definitely just wait and see for that to happen. Will the Flyers make another trade during this, later part of the draft? Because the 2nd through 7th rounds are going on currently on NHL Network, and they're going to be going on for quite some time. Will we see another trade? I'm not sure. Will we see something happen this weekend? I'm not sure. Will something happen during free agency? Probably. So we just got to wait and see what happens at this point. The day-by-day process with the moves that they're most likely going to be making. Let's see. People are talking about Gaudreau and everything like that. Really, it's the same rumors that we've been seeing all along. The Flyers want to trade for his rights, possibly, so they can add the eighth year to an extension if that does happen. So, like I said, we're in the waiting process right now to see what happens. There was also some other trades that went down. We saw Ville Husso from St. Louis going over to Detroit for a third-round pick. Zach Kassian got traded for a couple of picks. The Maple Leafs traded Peter Mrazek to the Chicago Blackhawks. Kirby Dach getting traded to the Montreal Canadiens. Romanov getting traded to the New York Islanders. So, and also, what else? Vanacek from the Capitals, their goaltender, got traded to the New Jersey Devils for a couple of draft picks. Luke Kuden's getting traded to the San Jose Sharks. So there's a couple of things that we got to wait and see what happens. Did the Flyers end up with a Johnny Gaudreau? Possibly. I think it's most likely going to happen that the Flyers are going to end up with the Johnny Gaudreau. That's what I feel where a lot of the rumors are circling towards. So we're just in a wait and see process. So if something else happens today, definitely stay tuned for that. I'll definitely have my reaction and go over what goes on with the Flyers and what they do over the next, basically through this off season. If something happens today, I'll have something up. If something happens tomorrow, I'll have something up. So basically just stay tuned for that. I appreciate everyone here that joins in on the live stream as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'd like to read those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to check out everything in the description down below. Painted Lines, BrodesMedia, everything like that. I would definitely recommend it. I also recommend hitting the subscribe button and also using the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK, everyone. And I will see you next time. Pure chaos from the Flyers standpoint, and I live for chaos. So I'll see you next time.